Welcome to RAD Sib Spotlight, a podcast for parents and siblings of children with reactive attachment disorder. In today's episode, we continue with our series addressing topics with a trauma specialist.
One of the greatest heartaches of families that open their home and their hearts to RAD kids is the often devastating effect that happens to the neurotypical kids. When you don't see that coming, it breaks your heart in ways that are indescribable, and it's very painful for all involved. Hi, I'm Matthew Bradley. I've been a licensed marriage and family therapist for over 35 years, and I specialize in trauma recovery for adoptive families that have children with RAD. What are the effects upon a neurotypical or normal child in a family when a RAD child is adopted and brought into the family? Typically, the RAD child is looking to control things in the family because of their fear that they live in. And so one of the ways that RAD kids will often try to control families is by connecting with and dominating siblings, the neurotypical siblings. Important boundaries need to be established by the parents so that neurotypical kids can try to have a relatively normal life in the midst of the chaos that the RAD kid is trying to create. And so there's boundaries, of course, and a firm structure that the RAD child lives in, but there needs to be boundaries between the neurotypical child and the RAD child as well. And you can help the neurotypical child understand the reason for those because they may not like those boundaries. If appropriate boundaries are established when a neurotypical child is young, it's going to help them maintain a connection, but yet with the kinds of boundaries in place that will not only help themselves as they grow and become young adults, but it'll also help the RAD child. How do I talk with my neurotypical child about the RAD child having to leave the home for treatment or having to leave the home because the adoption gets undone? So again, honesty is the best policy. You want to ask the child to talk about what they think has led up to the RAD sibling leaving the home. Have the child talk about the bad behaviors, the attitude, the disrespect, all of that. And then have a conversation about what that means. I mean, is this the way that our family operates, that we treat each other with this level of disrespect? And the neurotypical child will typically agree that this isn't the way that the family does it. So that's the reason that the RAD child has been sent off for treatment. Or because treatment hasn't helped or they haven't accepted the treatment, now we're undoing the adoption. But there'll always be a place in our heart for that child. What we like to say is, we love that child wherever he or she lives. The degree to which that neurotypical child has a trauma bond currently going on will tell you how much they're suffering and struggling, because it may be that a neurotypical child is angry and defends the RAD child, says, they're not that bad, they shouldn't have to be sent away, what's wrong with you, and blames the parents. If the trauma bond isn't so strong, or if the child is getting healing for their trauma bond, they're likely to have natural and normal appropriate grief. So you want to help them facilitate that expression of grief, talk about the sadness and the anger and the disappointment. And there may be even letters that they could write to express those feelings to the sibling that's out of the home.
Look for more episodes in this series, Topics with a Trauma Specialist.
RAD SIBS Spotlight, bringing the SIBS back into focus.